Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Math 230, the first course on probability. Very simple, basic course. This is the first time you would see probability, probably. You would see probability at LUMS. May have taken a, more elementary course, maybe in your high school. So since this is a first lecture, we'll give a couple of minutes to people who are still joining. I see. Sanity check, is my audio, can you hear me audible?
Yeah.
Great. Let's also confirm if we can do the screen sharing here. Can you guys see the shared screen?
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you. Okay, we have about 54 people who have already joined. I guess we'll just get started. Okay, so this is probability, Math 230. And I think this is the core course for all the SSE folks, maybe for some other people as well, but at least for the SSE people, this is the core course. So first of all, I'm going to talk about some administrative stuff. Admin stuff. We have websites for the course, sites. One of the sites is LMS. If you are registered for the course, you will automatically be enrolled on LMS. If you are enrolled for the course, or you will have access to LMS. Anyone who does not have access to LMS, you need to check the registration status or send us an email after the class. On the LMS, we already have course outline available. Course outline is available. A soft copy of the recommended book is also available on the LMS website. Okay. So this is one of the websites, one of the resources that we will be using throughout the semester. Another very useful resource that we will be using is Piazza. It's a pizza with an A. Piazza, and this would be used for class-related discussions. Okay. So we'll give you weekly homeworks, and if there is an issue with the homework problem, we'll have quizzes, weekly quizzes. You need to ask something about the quiz questions, or in general, if you want to ask something about the course material. So class-related discussion can happen on Piazza. And the reason that we use this Piazza bulletin board is because we always get repeat questions from students over the email. it's much less efficient to respond to each of those students over email. The responses are delayed and often repetitive. So it is much better that we have this common place where a student can ask the question. You should be able to ask the questions anonymously as well. So you can ask the question and somebody in the class will answer. So other students can also answer. So this will promote discussion and learning. Promote discussions and mutual learning. Okay. There is a prerequisite for the course, and the prereq is calculus. You should have taken calculus either at LAMS or somewhere else, most likely at LAMS. There are some concepts of calculus that we will heavily use. Many things we will not use. Students sometimes get intimidated with the double integrals. We will have a self-contained type of discussion. So even if you are not very comfortable with double integrals, we will give you tutorials which will make you comfortable with those. Okay, and we are always available, myself and the TAs. We have 3 TAs. We have 3 TAs for the course, and the TAs that we have, one is Arfa Yasin. Is the TA? Arfa, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just say hi to all the students.
Hi, everyone.
And Farhan Kimani. Farhan, you here? Farhan is not here. And then we have Sarah Jabin. Sarah, you here? Sarah Bining. That's okay. So one of the questions which students often ask about the admin stuff is about grading. And guess what? We have grading for the course. We will have grades at the end of the semester, and inshallah, everyone will get a good grade. And the good news first, there is no midterm. There is no midterm for the course. By the way, the office hours for the students, we don't know those yet. The semester has just started, so we will find out about these office hours. I generally advise the TAs to scatter their office hours. So if the students have any questions, queries, they should get answers, throughout the week. Piazza will also help you asking the question at any time, pretty much, middle of the night, you can ask questions and hopefully somebody else would be able to answer in a short period of time. So make sure that that you use this Piazza resource as efficiently as possible. Okay. So we have grading, no midterm, but obviously if we don't have midterm, we're going to have homeworks, quizzes, and finals for the class. So we have homeworks, and then we have quizzes, and then we have finals for the class. There is one final, so just one final. Okay. And let me just give you the grading breakdown for homeworks, quizzes, and finals, and how those will be conducted. It's an online course, not the ideal situation, but I hope that we will be able to learn whatever we want to learn from this course. So for the homeworks, we are going to have about 10 to 12 homeworks. And some of these homeworks will be short, some of those would be not so short. But if you go through the class material, And if you go through the book sections, you should be able to do these homeworks fairly quickly within a day or so. So we will have weekly homeworks or roughly weekly homeworks, and each of the homeworks will have an N-1 drop policy for the homeworks. N-1 policy for the homeworks. N-1 policy for the homework, which means that one worse homework will be dropped. I will have some more comments about how to complete these homeworks and what is the purpose of these homeworks. Each of the homework will have very little percentage grade assigned to it. So approximately 1 to 1.5% grade. So that means max 15% of the total grade will be assigned to the homeworks. Max 15%, no more than 15%. Okay. We also allow up to 4 students to work together and submit one writer. And the submission of the homework is on LMS assignments. So if you are familiar with LMS, hopefully you are, you should be able to log in, and in the assignments tab, you will see homework 1, homework 2, homework 3 as the time comes, and you should be able to upload the assignment. Only one member should upload the homework. So if you are working with 2 other students, for example, not all of you should submit the same copy of the homework. Just submit one for your entire group, but make sure that you write the name of your student group members. Okay. So the purpose of the homeworks is not focused on grading, is more on learning. So 1% जो है वो अगर चला भी जाए तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है, and these days we will see that solutions are available. Solutions will be made available. We will upload those solutions on LMS, but even before that, times of internet, you should be able to Google for the solution, and you will find the solution somewhere on the internet. Probability is a pretty standard old kind of a subject. The material hasn't changed in years. The questions that we ask, they haven't changed over the years. We will try to innovate, ask a few new questions, but it's not possible to come up with altogether new questions, for every homework. So please, if you want to take a look at the homework solutions, that's okay. But I would very strongly advise you to attempt the questions on your own. Have discussions with your group members. Have discussions with other students as well, even if they are not in your group. Okay. So I would like to promote the discussions in the course, which will help you learn the course material. So make sure that you have as much discussion about the homework problems with your fellow students. So it's okay to take a look at the solutions online somewhere. It's not okay to do a blatant copy of the solutions. So okay to consult online, but not okay to do blatant copy. And really, if you think about it, what do you gain by blatant copying? That that 1% that everyone will get anyway, and you are not going to get any advantage. Why not spend your time trying to think about how to solve this question, and maybe you will get a wrong idea, and maybe in the process you will learn a few things. Okay. We also have weekly quizzes. So these are roughly weekly, and you can see that 10 to 12 homeworks. So similarly, we will have approximately 10 to 12 quizzes as well. 10 to 12 quizzes, and final, there is just one final. There's just one final, which will be approximately 20%, not to exceed not to exceed 25%. So about 20%, 20 to 25%. Okay. Quizzes, we will have weekly quizzes, and each of the quizzes would be about 6 to 8% each quiz. Okay, and for the quizzes, we will have the N-2 policy, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And these quizzes will be conducted online via LMS. So LMS pay, there is a tests and quizzes tab, and maybe many of you have used that already for some other courses. If you have not, it's pretty easy to use, very intuitive. You should be able to do that. So these would be timed and random access, which means that you can work on one problem, move to the second one, come back to the first one, and so on and so forth. Okay. And we have this N-2 policy. Why do we have this N-2 policy? This N-2 policy is to avoid you the trouble of going to the OSA should you have to go to the OSA. So, hopefully the semester will go very smoothly, but things happen. Internet issues, somebody getting sick, hopefully not, and things like that. Lots of things can happen, and in order to accommodate all of those situations, all the uncertain situations, will be handled by this N-2 policy. So if you perform poorly on a quiz or two, or are unable to take a quiz or two, I do not suggest attending cousin's wedding and dropping the quiz for that. If you are getting married, then it's probably okay to not attend that quiz. But hopefully that wouldn't happen this semester. But who knows? Okay. This N-2 policy, as I said, this will also allow you that if you have one or two quizzes, so you don't have to go to OSA. There is no need to do all the paperwork, form filling and getting approvals from OSA. There is no need to do that. Okay. However, sometimes things can be even worse, and you have you have to miss 3 quizzes or 4 quizzes. What would we do in that case? Well, course policy is that I'm not going if you miss all the quizzes, maybe God doesn't want you to take the course this semester. So in that case, you will have to go to OSA anyway. So OSA ke paas jaएं and then file a petition, and whatever they do, we will do accordingly. Okay, but make sure that you don't get sick over the final, please. Final is about 20% of the grade, maybe in excess of 20% of the grade, but there is no makeup final. It takes a very long time to set up a final in an online setting. If this was an offline setting, even in that case, it's difficult. It's very time consuming to set up a final. So for one individual or 2 individuals, we will not be able to set up an alternate final. So please take the final in the allocated time slot. Okay, so take the final in the allocated time slot, and that allocated time slot, I'm not sure what that is. Probably it's 12th of May or 18th of May or something like that. Wherever is that, it should be a Punjab. But whatever is the allocated time slot, make sure that it doesn't conflict with any other exams of your other courses. Hopefully not. If the classes are not clashing, then the finals will also not clash. Okay. Similarly, for the quizzes, makeup quizzes will not be possible. Makeups will not be possible, and that is why we have this N-2 policy. If anyone has a question, just please go ahead and ask. Question hai kisi ka? कोई question नहीं? Khizar has asked a question. Oh, by the way, I just read through the chat window. I was focusing on this writing and not reading the messages in the chat window. I don't know what you guys are saying, but somebody has asked the same 4 students for every homework. Not necessarily, during the semester. Once again, somebody doesn't want to work with you, or you don't want to work with somebody that you have started working with. It's okay to change the group mid-semester after 1 homework, after 2 homeworks, after 5 homeworks or 6 homework. It's perfectly all right. The TAs will be able to take care of assigning the grade. Everyone in the group will get the same grade. What I would not suggest for the homeworks is dividing up the questions. Every homework will have roughly 15 questions. Dividing up the questions between the group members and solving only those questions, I think that will hamper your learning. You will not be able to to completely cover the course material. So Kiran has asked, what if I don't find a group? That's okay. If one person is submitting the homework alone, that's perfectly all right. That is not a problem. 1%, 2, 3, up to 4 students can group up, which means that 1 or 2 students can also submit an individual homework. Who is timing? We will come to that. So I'm going to talk about the teaching methodology. So I'm going to use a new kind of teaching methodology this semester, and there is a reason for that. I taught the course last year. I have the videos recorded and available on YouTube, which I will make available throughout the week or in the beginning of the week. So for example, the first 2 lecture videos are available. You will see that the date is messed up because it is from the last year, but the first 2 lectures are already available on the YouTube channel. You can just go ahead and watch those videos whenever you want. Whenever you feel comfortable, you can watch those videos. You can watch those videos multiple times as well. There is no point in me wasting the time of the class and repeating the same stuff which is already recorded. Hopefully I would have improved since last year, but the subject matter has not changed since decades. So I think it is best to just make use of those videos and make those available. Well, if I make those videos available, what I'm going to do is there is a notion of what we call discussion-based learning. And we are going to do discussion-based learning in this course now. So we will have pre-recorded from last year, pre-recorded videos on YouTube. Okay. And these pre-recorded videos will be made available early in the week. So for example, for this week, both the videos are already available. Okay. So lecture 1, lecture 2 are already available on the YouTube channel. By the way, the links to the YouTube channel and links to Piazza, this is all available on LMS. Okay. So wahan jaake, please make sure you join Piazza. Please make sure you check LMS. Please make sure you check your emails. We send out timed information sometimes. So make sure you don't miss out on any of the announcements. Okay. So these pre-recorded videos will be available. You can watch those whenever you feel like, but definitely before. Watch anytime, but definitely before Thursday lectures. And why is that? Because we are going to have Thursday lecture is going to be devoted to the classroom discussion, and the discussion topic would be that video and the material covered in the video, in the 2 videos. week. The entire lecture will be covered in that. And I would like, you guys are smart, I would like you guys to lead the discussions, ask questions, ask tough questions. And I'm sure I will not be able to answer all of those, but we will collectively find answers to those. Abdul Muiz has asked, how early will you upload these lectures? Well, the lectures for the first two lectures are already on YouTube. Typically, I will upload those videos over the weekend. Weekend पे upload कर देंगे for the coming week, and you can watch the videos over the weekend. Okay. All right. So so that is about the Thursday's lecture. So what happens on Tuesdays? What happens on Tuesdays? Okay. What we are doing today is not going to repeat every week. It's not going to repeat every week. So on Tuesdays, what we are going to do is also, more discussions. But this discussion, I would like this discussion. This can be on the course videos, but preferably on homework problems. For the homework that we will assign you. And the homework will be due. Homework due will be on Mondays 5 p.m. The homeworks will be due on Monday 5 p.m. I will make the solutions available shortly after 5 p.m. And the next morning on Tuesdays, we can have the discussion about the homework problems, those 15 problems, and some other problems as well if you have those. Okay. So first half of Tuesdays, first half will be discussion on the homework problems, and you can also discuss. Okay to discuss video lectures and the contents within. Contents discuss kar sakte hain, okay? And you will see, since these videos are from the last year, in the videos I might be referring to the homework is due, the quiz is due. Don't pay attention to that. That was for last year. Just filter that out. And we will have homeworks, deadlines, and quiz deadlines for this semester as posted on LMS. The second half of Tuesday's lecture will be for conducting the quizzes. And as I said, this would be online on LMS. Okay. All right. So Kiran has a question. What do we do on Tuesday lecture? So I hope you have the answer that what do we do on Tuesday's lectures? Some more admin stuff. We have a book for the course, and in fact, let me just put this under the reading material. We have reading material. Some of it is already available on LMS and will be made available on LMS. There is a book which is called A First Course in Probability. A First Course in Probability by Sheldon Ross. And many editions of the book are out there. I'm going to be using the 10th edition. Last year I used 9th edition, but this year I'm going to use the 10th edition. Not much difference. As I said, that I think even the first edition is not too much different from the 10th edition. Okay. So we are going to closely follow this book. We will closely follow the book. Some of the topics will be skipped, which are not useful. We have to cover. We will cover about 1 to 7 chapters. Chapters 1 to 7, and optionally chapter 8. If time permits. So we already talked about the lectures. The lectures are going to be videos available at the start of the week, or maybe even over the weekend, on YouTube. ये YouTube पे available हो जाएंगी. By the way, we will also have tutorials. The TAs will take the tutorials, and I have asked the students to, instead of introducing new questions in the tutorials, well, they can introduce some new questions, but the focus of the tutorial is also going to be help with homework problems, and maybe introduce a couple of new problems and related to the material covered during that week, related to the covered material, of course. I am going to strictly follow the honor code, which means that I will have full trust in you, complete trust in you. And what that means is, for the homeworks, I already wrote that please provide your own write-up. Provide your own write-up. Your own write-up. As I said, blatant copying is not okay. It will not be useful for you anyway. 1% शायद आपको grade मिल जाएगा, which will not differentiate you from the rest of the class. But blatant copying को avoid करना. No blatant copying. And what about the quizzes and finals? Quizzes and final. For the quizzes and finals, zero collaboration. Zero collaboration. Which means no WhatsApp communication, no phone communication, no phone, WhatsApp, etc. Everything else which falls under communication. No communication with any member of the class or anyone outside. Okay. Mobeen has asked, sir, is it possible for you to take on-campus quizzes? If you were the only one taking the course, I would be very happy to do that. Getting a consensus of 110 students, agreeing to this, not possible. Even if all the 110 students agree to take the quiz on campus, the authorities are not going to allow us. The university will not allow us to take the quizzes on campus. I would be very happy to do that, but Kiran is asking, why is this course not on campus? So I don't know. I think they had a cap limit. If a course exceeds an enrollment capacity of 70, then the course will only be offered online. Well, that is not true. I am going to be teaching another course which will have an enrollment of 120, and it's in person. But that's okay. Kiran, university को ये आप बाद में कह लें जो भी कहना है, so इधर ना कहें. This is going to get recorded.
Sir, is it okay if we ask a few questions right now, या अभी हम wait करें?
Sorry, आप question repeat करेंगे?
Sir, is it okay to ask questions right now, or do we wait for you to finish this whole administration?
It is perfectly all right to ask questions. ये तो अभी आपने पूछ ही लिया है.
Yes, I see the irony. Sir, basically, my question is slightly long, so please bear with me. So it's on the topic of academic dishonesty and online quiz and online courses, etc., etc. All I want to know is, because we've already seen that online courses जैसे भी होते हैं, the instructors, they do try to implement slightly stricter measures. लेकिन fundamentally course की evaluation change नहीं होती, जिस तरह वही चलेगा कि जी mids भी हैं, quizzes भी हैं, etc., etc. So my question is कि मतलब अगर in person होता, that would have been ideal. But
I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Yes, but what my question is, what measures will you be taking to prevent those exceedingly high means or वो जो सारा system चलता है, and I'm not talking about those I shouldn't call them this, लेकिन वो जो एक थोड़े से artificial किस्म के नहीं measures होते हैं कि time कम दे दिया, questions ज़्यादा दे दिया quiz में तो automatically mean कम हो गया, या at the end B minus दे दिया mean पे, तो उस तरह के नहीं. लेकिन other than that, what kind of measures will you be taking in order to ensure कि the people who don't want to cheat have a fair playing ground for for this course?
तो
मतलब
मेरे जवाब देने से पहले ही किरण ने आपको जवाब दे दिया है वो राइटिंग में. So and that's not true, by the way. That is not true. So I tend to give generous grades, but students have to show the intent as well. And I think I have a theory about collaboration and cheating. In the absence of any evidence, I trust everyone. So I think, just like yourself, the rest of the fellow students, 110 students who are taking this course, I am going to trust all of you. If you violate anything, I think you are not damaging me. You are not, हमारा कुछ नुकसान नहीं हो रहा, आप अपना ही नुकसान कर रहे हैं. So I think once you realize that, your behavior, your thought process would probably be different. And similarly, thinking about कि यार मैं तो cheating नहीं कर रहा हूँ और ये बाकी लोग cheating कर रहे हैं, I think that's also ये बदगुमानी भी ना करें. I think कि just trust in people. बदगुमानी से ऐसे ही अपना दिल ही खराब होता है. If you know the material, what I can guarantee you if you know the material, you are not going to get a bad grade. इससे ज्यादा मैं कुछ और गारंटी नहीं कर सकता. मैं ये नहीं गारंटी कर सकता कि लोगों ने रिंग्स बनाए होते हैं. एंड दिस इज नॉट जस्ट कोविड, दिस इज नॉट द ऑनलाइन सिचुएशन. लोगों ने रिंग्स बना के वी हैड ए सिचुएशन कपल ऑफ इयर्स अगो कि मुझे किसी स्टूडेंट ने भेजा, एलडीएफ से पोस्ट भेजी कि किसी कोर्स के लिए जो है वो मुझे हेल्प चाहिए एग्जाम के अंदर. एंड later the person who had graduated from LAMS, पता चला कि she was running a ring, matchmaking between people who will take money and solve questions for those who are here. So उस तरह की चीजों का यार हम कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते. दुनिया में इतनी सारी बुराइयां हैं, आप उसका कुछ नहीं कर सकते. आप अपने आप को साफ रखें, अपने आप को अच्छा रखें. That's all I can say. And once again, online learning के अंदर ये बात सही है कि it's not ideal, but even if you have in-person class, in-person quizzes, in-person, उसमें भी जितनी learning होनी है, जितना मीठा आपको मिलेगा वो उसी पे हिसाब से मिलेगा जितना आपने गुड़ डालना है. If you spend time learning the material, you will learn and it will be helpful for you in the long run. That's all I can say. And if you know the material, you will not get a bad grade. You will get a good grade. ठीक है ना?
Sir, thank you for the explanation. बस एक छोटी सी और चीज है कि I totally agree with you कि we should trust people and I definitely want to. लेकिन मतलब 3 सेमेस्टर्स अब हो गए जिसके अंदर हमने ऑनलाइन कोर्सेज देखे और उन सब में मोर और लेस एक ही स्टोरी थी. So if you could just give us an idea कि जैसे you were saying कि if we work hard we're going to get a good grade. How will you make sure? Because a lot of times the people who work hard they're just below the mean क्योंकि सब लोग उस फर्क तरीके से कर रहे हैं. So if you could give a little bit of an idea as to the mechanics of how you're going to solve this academic dishonesty वाला issue in the online courses, that would be great. थोड़ा सा peace of mind हो जाएगा because पिछले semester काफी कहना ही चाहिए काफी hand हुए हैं. तो if you could
सबसे पहली चीज तो ये है कि ट्रस्ट करना चाहिए लोगों पे कि लोग जो है वो चीट नहीं करेंगे. that is the most fundamental thing. Everything else is secondary. ये कोई डायरेक्ट मैसेज भेजा, प्लीज डायरेक्ट मैसेज ना भेजें मुझे. जो कुछ लिखना है आप सबके सामने लिख दें कि कैन यू हैव द फाइनल ऑन कैंपस. ऊपर भी किसी ने पूछा था, अगर यूनिवर्सिटी इजाजत देगी तो ठीक है, मुझे कोई एतराज नहीं होगा, लेकिन यूनिवर्सिटी नहीं इजाजत देगी इस चीज की. आई थिंक इन द कंप्यूटर साइंस डिपार्टमेंट देयर इज जस्ट some discussion the other day in the faculty कि all the classes which are online उनके exams जो हैं वो at least on campus होने चाहिए. And I think everyone, all the faculty members agreed to that. किसी ने उस पर एतराज नहीं किया, किसी को उस पर एतराज नहीं था. But really यूनिवर्सिटी पता नहीं उसकी इजाजत देगी या नहीं देगी, एंड दिस इज फॉर द कंप्यूटर साइंस डिपार्टमेंट। मुझे नहीं पता मैथ के कोर्सेज में जो है उस तरह की कोई सिचुएशन होगी भी या नहीं होगी, और कोई प्रपोजल इस तरह का इन कंसिडरेशन है भी या नहीं। बट आंसरिंग दिस क्वेश्चन, आई थिंक यार 12 क्विज़ेस होंगे और इतने सारे होमवर्क्स होंगे। होमवर्क्स का तो चलें खैर कोई बात नहीं, उसकी परसेंटेज ही काफी इनसिग्निफिकेंट, एंड देयर वुड बी अ फाइनल। दिस इज सफिशिएंट नंबर ऑफ इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स, जिसके बाद जो है ना वो आपको अंदाजा हो जाएगा। एटलीस्ट मुझे ये तसल्ली होगी। अगेन वो जो मेरी बेसिक अजम्पशन है कि लोग चीट नहीं करते, उसको वायोलेट शायद कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन अजम्पशन यही है कि अगर किसी को चीटिंग करनी भी है तो उसको जो है ना वो 13 दफा मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, अगर कोई किसी को पैसे दे के भी करवा रहा है। सो which I don't think it happens, or if it happens I don't want to hear about it. जो चीटिंग कर रहा है वो अपना लॉन्ग टर्म का नुकसान कर रहा है, और अगर आपने लॉन्ग टर्म का नुकसान लेने इट रियली डज नॉट मैटर। 20 years को तो भूल जाए, इवन 2 years down the road nobody is going to ask you कि आपका ग्रेड जो है वो B- था या B+ था या A- था या A+ था। Nobody is going to ask you that. Once people understand that, तो ये चीज वैसे ही कम हो जाएगी, या आपका क्वेश्चन जो है वो शायद इसके आंसर की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी। बट रियली ये मैं मान नहीं सकता द वे वी डिजाइन क्विजेस, और वो बात आपकी सही है कि आर्टिफिशियलिटी से जो है हम कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं इसको, कि टू मेनी क्वेश्चंस इन द क्विज, सो इससे इसका ये मतलब नहीं है कि हम चाहते हैं कि मीन लो हो जाए। इससे इसका मतलब ये है कि हम ये चाहते हैं कि लोग अपने काम में बिजी रहें। सो खिजर कह रहे हैं पीपल हैवंट अंडरस्टूड येट। यार दुनिया में जो है ना वही बात है कि इतनी सारी चीजें चल रही, सबको पता है कि क्या अच्छे काम है क्या बुरे काम है। जब अच्छे काम जो है वो एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर सकते कि हर बंदा कर रहा होगा, उम्मीद यही रखनी चाहिए, और मैं भी यही उम्मीद रखता हूँ। एंड आई थिंक एनफ डिस्कशन ऑन दिस। कोई अगर कोई फाइनल कमेंट्स हैं तो वो आप बेशक दे दें। आई वांट टू मूव ऑन फ्रॉम दिस डिस्कशन। इसका कोई नतीजा नहीं निकलेगा, इसका सिर्फ ऐसे ही है। मैंने तो इसका ये किया कि जस्ट मेक ट्रस्ट इन द पीपल। और ये जो आपका एक सवाल था ना कि हाउ वुड आई इंश्योर कि उसका बैड ग्रेड ना आए, व्हाट इज अ बैड ग्रेड एनीवे? सी की डेफिनेशन भी सेटिस्फैक्टरी होती है। सो आई थिंक इट व्हाट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट, और आई ऑलवेज promote this कि I think it is more important to understand the material. grades जो हैं वो एक artifacts ही, कोई ग्रेड्स आ गए आपके, A आ गया, B आ गया, C आ गया, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? कुछ भी फर्क नहीं पड़ता। एंड रियली इसके ऊपर तो आपको मेरा ट्रस्ट करना पड़ेगा कि बाकी ग्रेड्स जो हैं वो अनइम्पोर्टेंट हो जाती हैं एक पॉइंट के ऊपर आके। फराज साहब बड़े हो गए हैं यार, पेरेंट्स को समझा दें यार, कोई बात नहीं। अब आप भी समझा सकते हैं खुद। अब ये चीज हम उनको नहीं समझा सकते। getting an A grade is probably not the life goal. maybe getting a Nobel Prize or Fields Medal, मैथ का कोर्स है तो फील्ड्स मेडल का जिक्र होना चाहिए, शुड बी द लाइफ गोल। क्लास में A ग्रेड लेना जो है, अगर ये वाला लाइफ गोल है तो शायद टारगेट ही हमने बहुत छोटा रखा है। Okay जी, so admin stuff is taken care of. Quizzes, finals, zero collaboration, no phone, WhatsApp, etc. Not even after the quiz, क्योंकि हो सकता है आपने क्विज खत्म कर लिया हो, किसी और ने भी ना किया हो, तो क्विज खत्म करने के बाद भी जो है वो प्लीज नो। ठीक है। So that takes care of all the admin stuff. Both the videos are already available. I will just give you a very 5-minute intro of what probability is. You will see कि ये दुनिया में जहाँ पे भी probability का कोर्स पढ़ाते हैं ना, typically, not always, but typically it is considered to be a boring course. और उसकी रीजन ये होती है कि कोर्स के अंदर we deal with with coin tosses को डील करते हैं, डाइस रोल्स के साथ हम डील करते हैं, डाइस रोल्स के साथ डील करेंगे, और पिकिंग कार्ड्स, 52 प्लेइंग कार्ड्स होते हैं, उनमें से कार्ड पिक करने हैं, उसके साथ डील करेंगे, और पिकिंग रेड बॉल फ्रॉम बॉक्स, उसके से डील करेंगे। एक बॉक्स है जिसमें रेड और ब्लैक बॉल्स हैं, what is the chance that you will pick a red ball if you randomly pick a ball, इस तरह की चीजें होंगी। So पहला सवाल जो है ना वो लोगों के जहन में यही आता है कि why this stuff, what is the practical importance of this stuff. Unfortunately this is the first course, इसके बगैर आप वो चीजें नहीं कर सकते which will have applicability in the real world. So for example, the mobile communication, everyone is using cell phone, जब फोन पे बात करते हैं, so wireless communication जो होती है is dependent upon the probability theory, noise add हो जाता है which is a probabilistic noise, whether you will be able to get the correct signal or not, so वो depend करता है। अगर probability theory आपको नहीं पता होगी, आप इस तरह की चीजें भी नहीं कर सकेंगे। We will not be able to do that in the first course of probability. We will be able to do that in a later course. लेकिन इस कोर्स के अंदर fundamentals build होते हैं, fundamentals नहीं build होंगे तो आपको पता ही नहीं चलेगा। Similarly, if you are looking for बहुत सारी situations हैं, if any of you कोई invest करता है stocks के अंदर? Anyone? Raise your hand if you invest in stocks. कोई भी नहीं करता, कोई स्टॉक्स में भी नहीं इन्वेस्ट करता। हाँ ठीक है, पैसे चाहिए होते हैं उसके लिए, आई अंडरस्टैंड, लेकिन थोड़े पैसों से भी कर सकते हैं। अच्छा, खिजर साहब को नजर लग जाएगी, सही है। We have many students. Another course that I'm teaching is on blockchain, and we have a TA we have multiple TAs who invest in cryptocurrency. I don't know what will happen to cryptocurrency in Pakistan if you have seen the press in the last 5-6 days. But students do invest in cryptocurrency. So students do invest in stocks. So stocks में जब आप invest करते हैं, मैं आपको ये बता रहा था कि practical situation, you want to maximize the profit. Similarly, if you buy insurance for a car, the insurance company would like to maximize the profit. Okay, what is the probability, what are the chances that this guy will run into an accident and we will have to pay money to this guy? तो वो अपना प्रीमियम जो रखते हैं वो उसके हिसाब से रखते हैं। And then there is a numerous other situations जहाँ पे probability theory, basic probability theory would be very useful. The reason that we deal with coin tosses, dice rolls, playing cards, or balls in the box, इनके साथ deal करते हैं is because कि वो basic principles हम establish कर दें। I wouldn't say कि formulas हमें पता चल जाए। You develop the methodology to attack a particular situation, and when that particular situation arises in a different practical scenario, you should be able to apply that. So some of the homework problems you will see, and those are given at the end of the book chapters. You will see that some of those problems are very interesting and depict a practical situation as well. Many would be coin tosses. So I'm going to just take a couple of minutes and talk about the coin toss and probability. What is a probability? What is probability? Probability से हमारा क्या मतलब क्या होता है इसका, or chance or likelihood. So if I ask this question, I hope everyone will be able to answer कि अगर coin toss करूं मैं एक, if there is a coin with head and tail, what is the chance that you will get a head? Answers in the chat window. सबको पता होना चाहिए. Toss a coin, chance of seeing a head. So people are giving different answers. All of those are the same: 50% or 1/2 or 0.5. Everything is, all of these are the same answers. Okay? So Irtiza ne kaha, assuming it's an unbiased coin 50% each. That's correct. Unbiased coin. Biased coin भी हो सकता है, ऐसा coin भी हो सकता है जिसके दोनों तरफ जो है वो head ही हो, उसमें हमेशा head ही नजर आएगा. And why is this 50%? मैं coin को अगर toss करता हूँ, मैंने 3 बार toss किया है, मुझे उसमें से 2 दफा टेल मिलेगी या 3 दफा टेल मिलेगी या 1 दफा टेल मिलेगी या टेल मिलेगी नहीं. ठीक है. How do I reach that 50%? How do I reach that 50%? कैसे आएगा 50%? Anyone who wants to answer this question? ये हमें कैसे पता चला? ये लग रहा है पूरी क्लास एग्री कर रही है कि ये 50% है. 0.5 is the chance. So the probability when you toss a fair coin, the probability that you will see a head it is 0.5 or 50% or 1/2. It seems that the whole class agrees with that. But why? क्यों? कौन जवाब देना चाहता है? मोहम्मद जजलान जवाब दें प्लीज.
सर आप बेसिकली कॉइन को इन्फिनिट अमाउंट ऑफ टाइम्स टॉस करें और आप नोट कर लें कि जो है ना कितनी दफ़ा हेड्स आए कितनी दफ़ा टेल्स आए.
हाँ.
और अगर आप इन्फिनिट टाइम्स कर रहे हैं तो आपके पास 0.5
ये कौन काउंट
probability है.
करेगा? इन्फिनिटी तक कौन काउंट करेगा?
So like practically possible like कम है, like it's not a practical work, but let's say कि you can do a very large number of repetitions and then you will see कि आपकी probability is approximately 0.5.
So you have indicated towards a very interesting situation, and probability theory में there are 2 big results, 2 major results, 2 largest results, and one of those results is called law of large numbers. I'm not going to talk about what is law of large numbers, but I'm going to give you a hint, and the hint is that ये जो 0.5 आपने आंसर बताया है, ये 0.5 आंसर आपने लॉ ऑफ लार्ज नंबर से बताया. दिस इज वन ऑफ द 2 मोस्ट इंपैक्टफुल रिजल्ट्स ऑफ प्रोबेबिलिटी थ्योरी. जो दूसरा मोस्ट इंपैक्टफुल रिजल्ट है, ये हमने इसका जिक्र पहले लेक्चर में कर दिया, इसका जिक्र लास्ट लेक्चर में होगा, और लास्ट लेक्चर्स में होगा, लास्ट 2, 3, 4 लेक्चर्स के अंदर होगा. ठीक है. इट्स कॉल्ड सेंट्रल लिमिट थ्योरम. हमें ये भी नहीं पता कि ये क्या चीज होती है, बट वी विल लर्न अबाउट दिस सेंट्रल लिमिट थ्योरम. ठीक है. सो व्हाट इज लॉ ऑफ लार्ज नंबर्स? लॉ ऑफ लार्ज नंबर्स वो यही कहता है जो अभी आपने एक्सप्लेन किया कि इफ यू रिपीट द एक्सपेरिमेंट an infinite number of times, half of the times you will see the head, half of the times you will see the tails. Okay? If it is an unbiased coin, it is not okay to give more chance to head or more chance to tail. दोनों को equal chance देना है. और अगर दोनों को equal chance देना है, हमें पता है हमारे पास 100% situation, हमारे पास total 100% है. I have to give 50% to the head, 50% to the tail. That's the most fair distribution. And any fair coin, unbiased coin, fair coin would have 50% of the time head showing up, 50% of the time tail showing up. That does not mean कि if you limit the number of experiments, तो फिर भी आपको 50-50 मिलेगा. हो सकता है आप 1000 दफा टॉस करें तो आपको 499 टाइम्स आपको हेड मिल जाए और 501 टाइम्स आपको टेल मिल जाए. ये ऐसा हो सकता है. ये कोई गारंटी नहीं है कि 500 हेड और 500 टेल्स आएंगे ना. इनफाइनाइट पे it is guaranteed, but not on a finite number. Yeah. So probability आपको ये बताती है कि what is the chance of something happening. What is the chance of something happening? And this is the frequentist definition. Frequency से निकला है, frequentist definition of probability. Similarly, if I ask you कि अगर एक डाइस को रोल करते हैं, डाइस रोल करें, ठीक है, what is the probability or what is the chance of seeing a 6? लूडो अगर खेलते हो आप तो 6 आता है तो बड़ी खुशी होती है. ठीक है. What is the chance that you will be happy? What is the chance that you will see a 6? It's 1/6. बड़ी जल्दी से हमने आंसर कर दिया, and I hope that everyone in the class will agree with that. If it's an unbiased dice, it's a fair dice. If I roll it, अगर उस डाइस को हम रोल करते हैं तो हमारे पास chance that you will see the number 6 is 1/6. The chance that you will see the number 4 is also 1/6. ठीक है, ये सारा कहां से आ रहा है हमारे पास? अगेन दिस इज ऑल कमिंग फ्रॉम द लॉ ऑफ लार्ज नंबर्स. लॉ ऑफ लार्ज नंबर्स से हमारे पास आ रहा है. So there are six possibilities. There are six possibilities when I roll a dice. There are six possibilities, and each of those possibilities is equally likely. Equally likely. जब हम dice roll करते हैं, इसको मैं कहता हूं कि I have performed a random experiment. A random experiment. This is the terminology that we often use. और ये बड़ी common English में use होने वाली terminology है. There is nothing magic in this. एक random experiment किया है. Random experiment का क्या मतलब है? कि मैंने एक dice roll कर दी. The outcome that you are going to see, the outcome that you are going to see is going to be one of those six guys. तो randomly उन 6 में से कुछ भी आ जाएगा. ठीक है, अगर पहले से पता हो तो लूडो की गेम इंटरेस्टिंग ही नहीं रहेगी. वेगस में जो लोग कार्ड्स खेलते हैं, पोकर खेलते हैं, ब्लैक जैक खेलते हैं, वो सब कुछ बंद हो जाएगा. ठीक है, क्रैप्स खेलते हैं, वो बंद हो जाएगा सब कुछ, अगर पहले से आपको पता हो. The reason that these things work is because we have randomness in the experiment. Randomness in the experiment. So the outcome of the experiment will have a random output. Will have a random output. या आपको 1 मिल रहा है डाइस रोल पे, या 2 या 3 या 4 या 5 या 6. Each of those random outcomes is equally likely. Since there are 6 outcomes, so each of those should be 1/6. 1/6 of the entire number of rolls of dice. 1/6 times मेरे पास 6 आना चाहिए, 1/6 times 5 आना चाहिए, and so on and so forth. ठीक है? So random experiment, we will see lots of random experiments here. Outcomes of the experiments which result from from performing the experiment. जैसे एक dice roll की है. By the way, मैं ऐसा भी कर सकता हूँ कि roll a dice and toss a coin together. ठीक है, और इस सारे को मैं एक एक्सपेरिमेंट कह देता हूँ. दिस इज वन सिंगल एक्सपेरिमेंट. एक दफा मैंने एक्सपेरिमेंट किया, एक डाइस रोल और कॉइन टॉस दोनों को मैंने हाथ में रख लिया और दोनों को इस तरह थ्रो कर दिया टुगेदर. हाउ मेनी डिफरेंट पॉसिबल आउटकम्स? हु विल आंसर दिस? हाउ मेनी आउटकम्स? By the way, all of those are random outcomes. How many outcomes? Answers in the chat window. Two outcomes. Abdul Basit, 2 outcomes नहीं है. एक डाइस रोल किया था तो 6 आउटकम्स आ गई थी, तो एक डाइस के साथ एक कॉइन को भी टॉस कर दिया तो फिर 2 आउटकम्स तो नहीं आएंगी. थैंक्स फॉर द करेक्शन. ठीक है, 12 outcomes. So I hope everyone agrees कि 12 outcomes. Kiran, you have a question? You have raised your hand.
Oh, yes, I do have a question. So that was related to the 50% probability wali cheez. Can you hear me correctly?
Yeah. We can hear you.
So I don't understand कि 50% तो like infinite number of वो tosses के लिए थी, तो जब हम उसे 1 कर देते हैं तो why do we still say it's 50%? के head आएगा tail आएगी.
हाँ, so एक बार एक्सपेरिमेंट करेंगे. If you toss a coin just once, you know कि ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आधा टेल आ जाए और आधा हेड आ जाए. That is not going to happen. So that's why probability is the chance of showing up head or tail. Is the chance. टॉस करने से पहले, कॉइन टॉस करने से पहले अगर कोई मेरे से पूछे कि टेल आएगा या हेड आएगा, मैं कहूंगा 50% चांस ये है कि टेल आएगा, 50% चांस है कि हेड आ जाएगा. Once I have performed the toss, उसके बाद तो then I already know कि टेल आया या हेड आया. But that does not change the probability. Probability is not something which you get after performing the experiment. Probability is something that you get before you perform the experiment. It's the chance of something happening in future. If you will perform the experiment, what is the chance of happening there, right?
Okay.
3 बार अगर आपने कॉइन टॉस की है तो मैं ये नहीं कह सकता कि 50% of the times आपको हेड मिलेगा, 50% of the time टेल मिलेगी. कभी भी नहीं होगा ऐसा. ऐसे नहीं हो सकता कि 1.5 हेड आ जाए, 1.5 टेल आ जाए. कभी ऐसा नहीं होगा. So yeah. So does that make sense?
Yeah, okay, so what if we toss a coin 2 times? So पहली दफा भी 50% probability of a head, in second time भी 50% probability of a
That
head
is
है.
true. That is
So
true.
does that imply कि then 100% probability है कि किसी एक में
नहीं
head
नहीं
आएगा?
नहीं नहीं
So
नहीं
why
नहीं
not?
नहीं नहीं it's not that. It's not that. ये तो ऐसा ही है कि आप लॉटरी का टिकट ले लें and you have 1% chance of winning. If you buy 100 lottery tickets, तो क्या गारंटी हो जाएगी कि आप लॉटरी जीत जाएंगी? नहीं, कभी ऐसा नहीं होगा. कभी ऐसा नहीं होता ना. लोग प्राइस बॉन्ड खरीद के रख लेते हैं और निकलता ही नहीं है. मेरा तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं निकलता कभी.
Yeah, true. Okay, thank you.
So yeah, it's so another thing that I should point out is कि आपने अगर 2 बार coin toss किया है, there is no reason to say कि एक बार head आएगा और एक बार tail आएगा. कभी भी ऐसा नहीं होगा. ये तो सोचना ही नहीं चाहिए. So toss 2 coins. By the way, if you roll a dice and toss a coin together, 12 outcomes हैं. क्योंकि 2 एक की हैं और 6 एक की हैं. For tail, you have 6 outcomes. For head, you have 6 outcomes of the dice. So total 6 times 2, ये 12 हो जाएंगे. And by the way, this is called the basic counting principle. So once you toss 2 coins, okay, do you get 1 head, 1 tail? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है कि मैं 2 बार 2 coins को toss करूं और दोनों tails आ जाएं. ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि दोनों head आ जाएं. ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि पहले पे टेल दूसरे पे हेड आ जाए. ऐसा भी हो सकता है पहले पे हेड दूसरे पे टेल आ जाए. These are 4 possible outcomes. 4 possible outcomes of an experiment in which I have tossed 2 coins together. What is the chance of getting 2 tails? What is the chance of getting 2 tails? More answers. Yeah, 25%. Oops. 25%. What is the chance of getting a tail and a head? First a tail and then a head is also 25%. What is the chance of getting a head and a tail is also 25%. So now this is a trick question. Toss 2 coins. Chance or probability of getting a head and a tail. What is the chance? मैंने ये नहीं कहा कि पहले कॉइन पे टेल आना चाहिए और दूसरे पे हेड, या पहले पे हेड आना चाहिए दूसरे पे टेल. What is the chance of getting a head and a tail? It's 50%. Thank you. Why? Because these two outcomes collectively satisfy this answer. Getting a head and a tail, there are 2 ways you can get a head and a tail. कि पहले पे टेल आ जाए दूसरे पे हेड आ जाए, या पहले पे हेड आ जाए दूसरे पे टेल आ जाए. So 2 out of 4 possibilities, they give you this situation when you have a head and a tail. So 2 out of 4, which is 1/2 or 50%. So the probability that you will get a tail and a head is 50%. Yeah. So think about this. Okay, if you have 4 coins, okay, how many outcomes? 4 coins tossed together. How many outcomes? पहले कॉइन के ऊपर 2 आउटकम्स हैं, दूसरे पे भी 2 हैं, तीसरे पे भी 2 हैं, चौथे पे भी 2 हैं. So this is not 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Justify to yourself why it is not 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So this is 16 outcomes. 4 coins, toss them together. How many possible outcomes? क्या क्या outcomes हो सकती हैं? Tail हो सकती है. Tail head हो सकता है. Head tail हो सकती है. Head tail हो सकती है, and so on and so forth. You can list all 16 of them. ठीक है. What is the probability or chance of tail and tail? Answers in the chat window. 1/16. Great. Anyone who does not agree with 1/16? Kiran, you still have a question? Your hand is still up. Okay, great. So the probability of getting 4 tails is 16. Now I will leave you with this question. What is the probability or chance of tail, head, 2 heads and 2 tails? Do not think कि ये जो ऊपर हमने सवाल किया था 2 कॉइन्स वाला जिसमें टेल और हेड, एक टेल और एक हेड चाहिए थी, उसका आंसर 1/2 इसलिए आया था क्योंकि there are 2 possibilities out of 4 which were giving you tail, head and tail. यहाँ पे what is the probability of tail, head? Not in that order. Not in that order. 1/8 or 1/16 or 1/2 or something else. If I want the order कि पहले कॉइन के ऊपर टेल आए, दूसरे कॉइन के ऊपर टेल आए, तीसरे कॉइन के ऊपर हेड आए, चौथे कॉइन के ऊपर हेड आए, what is the probability of that? It's going to be 1/16. That is true. Lekin I'm just saying what is the probability of 2 heads? Probability of 2 heads, 2 tails. I don't care कि किस कॉइन के ऊपर हेड आया है, किस कॉइन के ऊपर टेल आया है. I'm only interested in finding out कि what are the chances of getting 2 heads and 2 tails. देखें, मैं आपको इसका आसान तरीका बताता हूँ. List all of those 16 possibilities, 16 possible outcomes, और उनमें से काउंट कर लें, मार्क कर लें कि कहाँ पे 2 tails और 2 heads हैं. ये 2 tails और 2 heads हैं, ये भी 2 tails और 2 heads हैं, ये नहीं है, ये भी नहीं है. And list all of those. Count all of those possibilities. Count all of those possibilities, and then जितनी भी possibilities वो हैं, divided by 16, that should be your answer. That should be your answer. So आप ये 16 के लिए तो count कर लेंगे. But if I tell you that you have 100 coins, तो कौन list करेगा उसको? उसको तो कोई list नहीं करेगा. Which means that you will need some mathematical way of doing this counting. Some mathematical way of doing this counting. You are right, Kiran, by doing some combinations or something similar. Okay? And that is what we do in the first 2 lectures. पहले 2 lectures के अंदर हम यही करते हैं, जिनकी videos जो है uploaded हैं, take a look at the videos, enjoy करें, और questions जो होंगे वो we will discuss on Thursday. Thursday हम discuss करेंगे ये. अभी last 5 minutes में, अगर 6 minutes में किसी के कोई questions हैं about the administrative stuff, about probability, अभी हमने कुछ खास किया नहीं है, probability तो अभी की नहीं, start नहीं किया है. For that you will need to watch the videos and we will have the discussions on Thursdays. कोई और question किसी ने पूछना हो, कोई comment देना हो?
So I had a question about the homework.
Sure.
Does it have to be written, or can we like type it out in latex or something?
Absolutely, you can type it out in latex, and yeah, there is a tool called Overleaf available. You can just type it out on Overleaf latex में, और वो आपको automatically PDF generate कर देगा. Just submit that PDF. We will have the instructions when the first homework comes out. We will have the instruction on top of that first homework कि कैसे submit करना है, कहाँ submit करना है. ठीक है? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any other question? किसी का question हो और? You know what? I am going to try something. Acha, Isha, you have a question. If we do the homeworks and prepare for the quizzes regularly, will that be enough practice, or should we do extra practice? Well, extra practice के लिए homeworks हैं, and one thing I forgot to mention is that I also have class notes available. class notes available, and these are the notes that I prepared last year. I will probably improve a little bit, kuch here and there चीजें उसमें change करेंगे. I will make those available in time. वो भी in time मैं available कर दूंगा. I think the first set of notes is already there. First set of notes is already on the. Let me just check by logging into LMS. So if you go to LMS and in the reading material, you have books and tables, and then you have sample notes. Sample notes में मैंने वो first set of notes मैंने डाल दिया, which will cover the first few lectures. First few lectures cover हो जाएंगे उसमें, and those are not rough written notes जैसे कि अभी आज हमने ये किया, ये head tail वगैरह किए, उस तरह के नहीं है. कुछ examples भी होंगी उसमें, and you will see के nicely written notes हैं. Take a look at those. So to answer the question, is that sufficient? Well, nothing is sufficient. Knowledge की कोई limit तो है नहीं. जितनी ज़्यादा practice करेंगे उतना बेहतर है. At the end of the book, we assign questions, many of which are from the end of the book and chapter questions होती हैं. And some of the questions may not be from the book, but उसके अलावा जो questions हैं book के end chapter के ऊपर, you can take a look at those and try to solve those on your own. By the way, solutions manual भी available होती हैं. You will be able to find the solution manual, and it's very easy to look at the solution और कहें, oh ये तो ऐसे solve होता है. Maybe it's a good idea to at least give it a try. खुद solve करने की try करें, और then if you are unable to solve it, ask the TA, discuss with other students. उसमें ज़्यादा learning होती है rather than just looking up the solution. कहीं से देख लें उसको. And I'm not talking about the homework problems. I'm just talking about other problems at the end chapter. Problems जो हैं book के अंदर. I'm talking about those problems जिनके solutions मिल जाते हैं. We would not have assigned those in the homework. आप अपनी अगर practice के लिए भी कर रहे हैं तो it's probably a good idea कि पहले खुद practice करें, और उसके बाद अगर नहीं हो रहा तो फिर बेशक solution देख भी लें, कोई issue नहीं है, या discuss कर लें किसी से. So if you want to come to the office hours, I have office hours that I try to run online. But since the semester is hybrid, if you are on campus, it's okay if you stop by whenever you see me in the office. So I should generally be here. Typically Wednesday को 4 से 5 बजे तक मैं available होता हूँ. But not all Wednesdays. Sometimes meetings come up. But you can email, and I'm generally very responsive. Jaldi respond कर देता हूँ, and you can just stop by the same day. So on campus office hours, yes, you are welcome to come by. Just make sure that कि अगर किसी को cough हो, या if you have symptoms, flu symptoms हो, तो वो ये सोच के ना आ जाए कि मुझे तो flu है, मुझे COVID नहीं हो सकता. And please come by when you are masked. My office is second floor, SSE building, Maxwell wing. You can't miss it if you come here. So yeah, you will be able to find out. किसी और का कोई question? Anyone else? So मैं बस थोड़ी देर के बाद जो है ये chat window में देख लेता हूँ, and people are probably making a lot of comments, and I'm not sure if I have missed many of those. कोई किसी का question है तो now is the time to ask that before we close the session. कोई question नहीं है? All right. Okay, then that's it. I will see you guys on Thursday. Ahmed का question है. Can probability be negative? And if so, what does it mean? Probability cannot be negative. Can I say that the chance of you winning a lottery is -5%? लगता है ऐसा है कि हमारी किस्मत इतनी खराब है कि शायद नेगेटिव में हो, बट रियली प्रोबेबिलिटी कैन नॉट बी नेगेटिव. So I think किरण ने कहा है कि 100%. उससे पहले वो डैश है या माइनस, आई डोंट नो. So maybe 100% of getting chance of getting an A. No, probability cannot be negative. Negative नहीं होगी. और 100% से ज्यादा भी नहीं होगी, by the way. Any other questions? Are we going to be looking at discrete or continuous or both situations in this course? Both. Discrete will be finished in 6 weeks, 7 weeks maybe. So for the rest of the students, we don't know what discrete or continuous is. We haven't talked about that yet, but we will talk about that. Discrete is something which is countable. Continuous is something which is measurable. So we will talk about discrete and continuous in great detail. In great detail. All right. Any other questions? So most of us, Rehan is 25. Up 25 ke batch ke. 25 is freshman, right?
Yes, I'm a freshman.
So are we freshmen le rahe hain? I thought that this course is probably for sophomores. और कोई है freshman जो course ले रहा हो? Any other freshman? नहीं? कोई नहीं? Okay. So if there are no more questions, I am going to screen sharing जो है उसको turn off करेंगे. Screen sharing is off and I will close the session. All right, guys, see you on Thursday. Please watch the videos before coming to the class. आसिम मुनीर, शुक्रिया आपका सुबह सुबह आने का. खुदा हाफिज. एक तला हसनैन, आपका चेहरा बड़ा फेमिलियर लगता है. कहीं देखा है मैंने आपको. All right, guys. See you on Thursday.